So I recently took a trip to Michigan to visit family back home. On that trip, I may have purchased a book or two. Michigan has a lot of great bookstores, one of them being Schuler's in Grand Rapids. This place is wonderful for used books. They have lots of different choices and also new books as well. Also, Barnes & Noble had a 50% off hardcover sale going on when I visited, so I picked up some books from there. And of course, being Canadian, you have to stop at Target when you're visiting. So I went into our local Target and I found some books that were also discounted 20% or 30% off. I did have to practice some self-restraint, and I am not proud, but I am so excited about this haul, and I'm excited to add it to my bookshelf. So we'll just start with our Target haul first. The first book that I picked up from Target is Shield of Sparrows by Devany. This book was highly recommended when it first came out, and I'm really excited to read it. I hear that it is pretty similar to Silver Elite, and I did love Silver Elite. So we'll see if there's a lot of similarities, if there's some differences, but I am looking forward to dive into this one. However, this one is not the special edition. That's okay. It was 30% off. The next book that I got from Target is Hunting Adeline. I read book one, Haunting Adeline, and as bad as a stalker romance feels, the book really scratched an itch I didn't know I had, and as much as I didn't want to like it, it was a really good book. This book is by H.D. Carlton, and this is book 2 of this series. I love how thick this book is, and I also just love the chapters. The chapter pages are so beautiful. So I'm really excited to own this one, and I'll probably pick up book 1. I don't own book 1 yet, but I'll probably pick it up either thrifted or from a used bookstore or book outlet. The last book that I got from Target is called Caught Up by Navessa. This book is not new by any means, but it has been something that has been on my radar for a really long time, and I can't stop talking about it. I can't stop thinking about it, and I love the colors. Blue is my favorite color. Also, when it is 20% off, you take advantage. This is also kind of like, I think it's a dark romance. I think it may be like a stalker romance. Not sure. If I love this one, I will definitely be picking up book 2 as well. So after Target, I went back home to my family's house in Michigan, and I happened to stumble upon a package. Before leaving Canada, I had placed an order with ThriftBooks. They did arrive when I was there. So on ThriftBooks, I picked up Clarissa Clare's City of Lost Souls. I have a love-hate relationship with this series. I have tried to not jump back into this series, but for some reason it always kind of sits in the back of my mind, and I figured I might as well. I owned the first 2 books. I already owned City of Bones, and I picked up City of Ashes, and then I found City of Glass and City of Fallen Angels in hardcover, so then I was like, you know what, I might as well pick up this one and this one, City of Heavenly Fire. So this completes the series for me. I am still on book 2. I completed book 2. We'll be on book 3 next. Something that I've just literally noticed is book 5. It's a normal hardback. It's got the matte finish cover. There's the spine without the cover, and it's plain on the inside. But look, I just noticed this one has artwork on the cover. Look at that. I don't know if they all came with this, and this might be spoilers, so I'm not going to look at this. But oh my god, the artwork. Very exciting. Very exciting. I really tried to not like this series, but people keep reading it, people keep loving it, and also, as much as I tried to not like this series, it kept being recommended to me. I keep being told to just give it a chance and keep just continue it, and so here I am. I've purchased the whole series. These were only like $5 and $6 US, and I am noticing the one book unfortunately has some discoloration in the pages, but again, for $5 or $6, I don't care. It all reads the same. After ThriftBooks and after Target, I stopped in at Schuler's, and when I tell you that I had to practice self-restraint, I had a stack of books in my hands, and I had to make some really tough decisions. I must have gotten there on like a really great day. I have no clue, but there were so many good books to pick from. So the first book I found is Circus. This is by Erin Morgenstern. I don't know much about this book. It's showed up on Goodreads every now and then. I think that it will be something that I like. I believe it falls in the genres that I enjoy. If this book was only $6.50, I'm gonna give it a shot and see what I think. If I don't like it, I'll end up donating it. We'll see what it's about. It does say, the circus arrives without warning. No announcements precede it. It is simply there when yesterday it was not. Within the black and white striped canvas. Okay, this is giving Phantasma. Phantasma, yeah, that was the first one. This is giving kind of Phantasma. Within the black and white striped canvas sense is an utterly unique experience full of breathtaking amazement. It is called Les Cirques des Rêves. I don't speak French. And it is only open at night, but behind the scenes a fierce competition is underway, a duel between two young magicians, Celia and Marco, who have been trained since childhood expressly for this purpose by their mercurial instructors. Unbeknownst to them both, this is a game in which only one can be left standing. Amidst the high stakes, Celia and Marco soon tumble headfirst into love. We love tumbling into love, setting off a domino effect of dangerous consequences and leaving the lives of everyone from the performers to the patrons hanging in the balance. Yes. Next, I ran into Archer's Voice. This was something that was recommended to me very early on in my reading journey. I think it was really hot on TikTok at the time. So it's been on my TBR for a really long time, and I'm finally going to jump into it. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's why I picked it up. Next is a Lynn Painter book called Maid for Each Other. I bought this one because I have not read a Lynn Painter adult book yet. I've only loved Nothing Like the Movies and Better Than the Movies, and those are YAs. I'm really curious to see how a Lynn Painter adult book reads. But this is Made for Each Other. I kind of read chapter 1. She's like caught leaving this house, and the adults that are there seem to think that she's like a girlfriend of their sons, and so they were like referring to her by name, and they're like,
"We're gonna see you at the party later," and she's like,
"What do you mean? I'm not going to that party."
And they're like, "Oh, you must," and she's like,
"Okay, I guess I will."
And so then those two adults go to their son, their parents, apparently, and they're like,
"Hey, we saw your girlfriend today."
He's like,
"What? I totally made her up. How did you see my girlfriend?"
he didn't say that, but he was thinking that. And he was like,
"Oh, of course, yeah, her."
So it's going to be really interesting. This is probably like some fake dating situation, but I do like Lynn Painter, so we'll see how this goes. Last, at Schuler's, I picked up these two books, The Cursed and The Coven. The Coven and The Cursed. These I bought because the covers were black, the edges were beautiful, and when I looked it up on Goodreads, it said that it was a dark romance. So how could you turn down such a small, beautiful book like this? So I believe it's a duology. Not really sure what it's about. I do know The Coven is the first book in the series. "I'll always come for you, witchling," he said, holding my stare for a moment. Those blue eyes glimmered with something that felt like more, stealing the breath from my lungs for a suspended moment in time. The gold seemed to flash, twisted connection between us pulling taut. Then he ruined it, turning his stare away and touching the underside of my chin. "Can't have you being the one to give me orders now, can I?" I grimaced, the reminder serving its purpose, grounding me in reality. Love wasn't in the cards for me, not with a witch, and definitely not with a vessel. We could and would work together, but this is nothing more than a business arrangement between two people who hated each other. Enemies to lovers! We love that, so I had to pick up these two beautiful books. After Schuler's, we finished off the night with Barnes & Noble. And like I said, Barnes & Noble was having a 50% off hardcover sale, so I picked up this book, Enigma by Runix. Never heard of this book, but this author is very popular. I believe they wrote Gothicana, so I'm excited to see if I like this author and what they're all about. Love their name, by the way. And I love the cover. The cover's beautiful, and the edges aren't sprayed, so why not? 50% off. This book that I got from Schuler's is called From Blood and Ash. This is by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This has been on my TBR for a very long time, so I was very excited to find it used for $8 USD. Just a normal paperback. It does have like kind of the matte cover, so I always love a book like that, and it feels so solid and nice. The pages are really nice as well. Very excited to jump into this one. I sound like a broken record. This one is going to be a good time. because it's been on my TBR for a long time and it's been recommended to me. I also picked up this book from Schuler's called The High Mountain Court. I have not heard of this book before. I have not heard of this author before, but when I looked it up on Goodreads, it had a very high rating. The genres fit into my taste. The High Mountain Court begins the journey of the fugitive Red Witch, Remy, as she fights to reclaim her kingdom and discover what's inside her heart. We have another witch book. Ooh, it's almost witching season, so my fall TBR is going to be quite witchy. And then the last book that I picked up from Barnes & Noble, and literally I did not get any more because the store was closing, is this special edition of Throne of Secrets. Guys, I already own Throne of the Fallen from Book Outlet, and when I saw this beautiful baby blue cover for 50% off, beautiful artwork on the inside, I had to get it. It was a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. So, you know what? We just had to. How do you say no to this? And because I owned book one, I'm like, of course, this makes sense. And that, my friends, wraps up our Michigan book haul. I ended up bringing home 15 books. Are you kidding me? If you have any questions on how I brought 15 books home on a plane, let me know in the comments and I will fill you in, because there was a strategy to bag limits and bag weight limits. So I would love to share my tips and tricks for doing a huge haul in the States and bringing these things internationally. I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like seeing hauls, and I always love to share with you what I get. I'll see you next time. Bye!